Polite Enquiries, SCG, day one.
Are you sure it's day one, Jarrod? Do you know what day it is?
I have no idea what day it is. To be honest, I watched about 8 hours of test matches today over many continents and very little of the one I was actually paid to watch. Malik says, rain or play, what was more enjoyable? And there's nothing like watching the Sacramento Kings play the LA Lakers to keep yourself awake at 4 a.m. hoping that there was going to be enough play. I mean, it was what a bizarre thing to work through the night for.
I mean, I kind of like those little bits of downtime. I use that for myself. I don't get a lot of personal time anymore. You know, if you're a young father, if I can include myself in that category, this is gold. You know, 4 a.m. sorting through emails.
Living the dream.
And one of the rain breaks was nicely coinciding with the much more important test going on in the day in Mount Maunganui. So that was also pretty decent.
Yash says, how can England spice up things considering this is by far the most boring Ashes ever? Well, let me just say, there has been some tedious Ashes before. You'd have to be an incredibly young person to believe this is the most boring Ashes ever. I mean, it's boring. Don't get me wrong. It's staggeringly boring. And there was a certain point at around 3:30 in the morning where I was like, what am I doing with my life? But there's been some pretty boring Ashes. I think we need to be honest with that.
You should have been sorting out your emails or doing some filing. The one-sided Ashes contests. We've all done plenty of those. But my one suggestion, though, I mean, other than like logical, sound ideas like making a multi-format thing or the point system from the women's contest. It would be to just go back to the real old days when you had like a 22 of Billingshurst or whatever against Australia. England should just field double the number of players and see if they can then make it a contest.
Shrina says, when are we going to get the Bashar-Hussain trophy? Two highly competitive teams against each other. Ashes is too old and boring unless Australia is bowling, and they only bowl in 2 or 3 sessions per match. But they don't bowl that much. That is actually fairly accurate, isn't it? Look, I think it's great that, I was thinking about this before. A lot of people are like, it's not even the best test on today. You've got Bangladesh. Isn't it great that we have multiple tests at the same time, especially at this time of year? You know, I think it was a couple of years ago, did we have like 4 tests or something? And we've had the sort of 3 tests back to back at times. I think it's actually wonderful that we get the ability to completely ignore the test we don't like, unless you're forced to watch it because a large company is paying you.
Yes, it's a tough life, isn't it? We can just, on days like this, we can talk about Hussain, and get their name badly wrong and come over badly in the process. I mean, there is Test cricket is alive and well, even if this series is dead as a door now.
D. Collins says, how often is the Ashes dead rubber the 3rd best test match being played on the day? Well, I'm not sure how often the Ashes dead rubber is actually played on the same day as 2 other test matches. We'd have to have a look at that. But, I mean, I've always wondered about dead rubbers, and I get why it's hard to cancel test match dead rubbers, and I do understand that. But like when you watch like the Davis Cup in tennis, all 4 people who are still watching the Davis Cup or the Fed Cup or whatever that Fed Cup is now called, and there's like a dead rubber in the reverse singles, and like literally someone's playing like, with a racket tucked down their pants, and someone else is having a smoke between the breaks. And we take the tests really seriously still, even though they're dead rubbers. There's something so magnificent and something so stupid about that. Isn't cricket a great game? Like in the days when obviously you traveled for 400 months to get to the other place on a boat. So like, that dead rubber, we're going to have to play it. It doesn't quite mean the same anymore.
The sanctity of Test cricket, all fixtures will be fulfilled. I mean, don't they, in the World Series, they just call off the remaining games, don't they?
In almost every other sport, Alan, I think, don't they? I mean, there aren't that many sports left where it is like, what's finished now, we'll continue to play because, we've already booked the arena.
Just another way in which Test cricket is not moving the times.
Achilles says, will Jimmy Anderson get another 8 to 9 tests after the series to overtake Shane Warne's 708? Should he? Well, I mean, let's be honest. They're not going to keep him around to break Shane Warne's record. They're going to keep him around because he's probably still their best bowler. I think, there's a reason why he's here now. There's a reason why he's been dominating cricket for the last 4 or 5 years. I don't know how much you've been watching of him, Achilles, but he's still really good. In fact, he was really good today. He was probably better today after they got the ball changed. I mean, I don't know what was going on with that first ball they had, whether it got wet or what was going on. But when they got it replaced, Jimmy Anderson looked really good again. Jimmy Anderson quite often looks really good.
Yeah, I mean, I've got nothing to add there.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube, and for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app, and for premium content plus live streaming, make sure to subscribe to ESPN Player.